Welcome to Cage Minds. Micah Frankel. Interviews are energized by our friends at Dubby, and the hair is done by Barber Gabe's Fades. Check them out. Lobo Plaza here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Coors and Central. Do not adjust the screen. It's been a while, a long while, but he is back. CFC 5, October 18th in El Paso. The Bullet in the cage again. Andreas Quintana. Man, it's been a while.
Hey, what's up, Micah? How are you?
Oh, I'm good, buddy. How you doing?
Not too bad.
Not too bad. I didn't know if we were going to do this. It's at fight time. We're going to be 3 weeks short, I believe, of 3 years away from the
Wow.
cage. Can you believe it?
I thought it was two, but yeah, time goes by fast.
No, man, it's going to be three. That last one was actually in 2022.
Right, right.
So yeah, this is going on a third year. Time flies by. Did it just get away from you fighting?
Yeah, kind of. Um, Everyone knows, from my title fight, broke my jaw. Kind of had like a little problem because my molar had cracked and we didn't know. When my jaw broke, I got a plate in it. The plate came undone, so I had to have a second surgery. Got back to training. Had a few fights fall through, up and down kind of fights. Weren't too sure what we were going to do at the time. And I was still training and I got hit a little bit of my jaw. And I was like, wow, that's like super painful. And like, I've never been hit kind of, it wasn't like a hard hit, but wasn't a soft hit, I got hit and it was like, there's something wrong. So I went and got some x-rays done. And then my, my molar was cracked right at the root, exactly where the break was. So we were able to get that extracted. And, time doesn't stand still for anyone. Life will go on. The world will revolve if you're, if I'm fighting or not.
So you never lost thought of the fight game at this time?
Um, I always thought I'd return to the cage. I didn't know when, where, or you know, I was signed with Fury. They're 1 or 2 year contracts. I can't remember. Obviously, that contract ran out. There was a lot of fights I have been trying to, or a lot of cards I've been trying to get on. Um, but just my record, I guess, really hard to find me an opponent.
So we go back all the way to the Fury title fight. And we know that after that one, you're hospitalized. There was a broken jaw. So from the broken jaw and just the initial break and the healing, that process all went well.
Yeah, it went well. I haven't had any problems with it at all. Besides obviously the plate coming out, so I don't even have a metal plate in my jaw anymore. Um, I did take a fight after that, as everyone probably knows if they follow my career.
After that fight, were there then these complications started to arise where the jaw didn't feel well again?
No, no, not at all. My fight went well health wise, I guess. I got just a little cut from that fight. It was a controversial fight. If you know, you know. But then my head coach Latrell, he decided to retire, so I was kind of like out of a gym then and there. Um, and I never found like a home gym until my brother started training at Borg's.
And now, how long has it been for you getting in the mix with that group?
At least 3.5 months. I was stopping by every now and then because my brother was fighting and training out of there. So I'd go and try and help him. I'd spar here once in a while. I go get some work in, but not consistent at all.
So it wasn't consistent. So where were you at mentally in this time period? Are you thinking I'm taking fights, I'm looking, or with that inconsistency where your aspirations starting to lead life in other directions?
Just like I was saying, whether I'm gonna be fighting or not, life's gonna move on. So I gotta, take the next step in life. But I've always I didn't consider myself retired. Some people may have, some people may have not, but I was actively looking to fight for sure. Um, I've reached out to Combate and they're just like pointing fingers at each other, like, ask this guy. No, you ask this guy. You ask this guy. I was like, well, whatever. Am I gonna fight or not? I'm willing to fight. But so if if you guys have an opponent for me, let me know. There was a few other promotions. I can't remember off the top of my head. Um, I think Fury did offer me a fight or two, but it wasn't the right matchup, I think, at the point in time in my career. Um, I think my management was looking for me for a fight, but haven't heard too much from them. They reached out to me, making sure my fight was still a go for Saturday, and I told them, as far as I know, yes.
Now, Saturday, a return. Does it feel like it's been so long? It's been 3 years, as I mentioned. Does it feel like it's been that long since you've been in a cage and fighting with something on the line?
Um, it kind of does and it kind of doesn't. It's time is weird, kind of sometimes, like I've never stopped doing MMA. I've always grappled with some of the guys. I've been teaching kids class for a long time, for at least about a year. I've re-entered into teaching. I've always taught. I've always done privates, taught kids class, everything. But I took that time off, obviously, after my fight, whenever I had my jaw broken, and I jumped back in, and then that kind of like gave me a little kickstart to start being more active and looking for a fight.
And also during that time away, I think for the first time that I knew of, you took on a job. You were still training people for fighting in that job, but you took on a job.
Yeah. Well, I've always had more or less the same job. Um, I just kind of took on more of a permanent role in that job, I guess, more of a full-time role.
And you're still there training people how to use martial arts and use it effectively. So you feel like you've never lost that combative mindset.
Correct. Yeah. I'm still sharpening my skills, still learning myself, and trying to teach new people and people that are out there needing to use martial arts in different ways, and just keeping people safe if they're willing to learn.
So the question of with the time away, ring what rust will come up, and how do you feel about that topic?
Um, I feel fine. I feel okay. I've been sparring a ton. Like I said, I've been training pretty hard for about 3 months. Um, it's not the same type of training I used to do because all I would do is wake up, train, come home, take a little nap, feel up again, go back and train. Life's a little bit different. I don't train, I feel like, as much, but I'm also not fighting as, I think, in my opinion, as high competition as I was at the time.
Is this a full blown like return, and is there unfinished business, or right now is there a mentality of I miss this, I love this, I just want to do this any way possible?
Um, I'm not too sure. I guess it's we're gonna find that out more on Saturday. I would like to return. I do miss fighting. It's been a huge part. It's been most of my life, my adult life. I started fighting when I was about 12 years old, straight boxing, and did MMA since I was about 16, 17. So it's fighting would be my life would be kind of weird without fighting. I did I have taken a break before, but not as long, obviously. 3 years is a long time. But I would like to get through this fight. In my mind, I was telling my coaches, Ray Borg, I would like to go to the second round. He's like, why? I was like, well, it's been a while since I fought. I want to see, if I still got it, if it's there. If I go and get like a 30-second knockout, like it doesn't tell me a lot.
What was Ray's response? If you can share that with us. I know Ray pretty well. I'm gathering I know the response, but what was it?
He seemed a little confused, like, why wouldn't you want to try and finish it early? Yeah, he's like, what? you know, but me just thinking, I haven't been in there a while. I'm used to doing 5 round fights. Most of my later career, all 5 rounders, I believe. Title fights, main event fights, all this. And just to not be able to fight in 3 years, like you're saying, it's gonna be a question on how I respond.
There's going to be a ton of answers that we're going to get on that night. You already brought up the getting to the second round. Do you still got it? Testing the will, kind of. Like, what's the biggest question that you feel you have for yourself?
Not how I'm gonna react is I know how my mentality will be. I know if I can do it, I will do it. I've never quit in a fight. I've never quit in training, nothing. If my body, the biggest question will be, is my body going to be able to do it?
When the fight is first announced, we're looking at Dunmaro, a 45 fight veteran. Dude
Yeah.
had a multitude of skills. And as it's prone to do in the fight game, that fight obviously fell apart. That's why we're bringing it up in that nature. You are instead now going to fight Pablo Burgos. People that watch Combate have seen him in action before. I feel like at some point you're going to tell me you've already fought this guy 5, 6 times in your career, a stocky wrestler that I don't know if his body allows him to throw a straight punch. Everything I've seen for 4 fights on YouTube, it's hooks, it's overhands, it's getting to his wrestling. Bravo on a nasty guillotine that was tricky to trap his opponent in the Doris from moving into half guard and kind of forcing the position. But what are you looking at here? What do you think of the short notice replacement opponent?
Um, I don't really know much about him. I think I saw one fight. I watched it maybe once, and I just think I'm crisper. I'm better. I'm more experienced. He's gonna be tough. I know he is. Um, I don't know how his wrestling is. It to me, it didn't look the best. So I know I have really good wrestling defense, and I've been grappling more than I've been striking in my time off because it's just kind of hard to get striking partners, of course. And at Rays, we do grapple a lot, but we spar a lot as well. I'm just sharpening my tool set, going in with what I'm supposed to do. I'm gonna stay sharp, stick to my boxing, defend the takedown if it gets that far.
You have won the Copa Combate. You have this big record. You've been a contestant on the Ultimate Fighter. How much does hunger go into account in this fight where Pablo is looking at you as the biggest opportunity of his career?
Yeah, I'm obviously gonna have to stay on my p's and q's, make sure I don't falter from the game plan, make sure I don't get lazy, make sure my defense is on point. Um, I know he's gonna come out probably pretty hard. He's gonna be tough. He's from Chile, right? I believe. Yeah, there's some tough people there. I want to say I fought one guy from Chile and I couldn't put him away. What was his name? It was the first guy that I fought in the tournament. Yeah, he was a tough guy too. But hey, I've been there, I've done that. I've seen probably everything he's gonna bring.
Sorry, I'm trying to look up the date of the. I think that was Eric Sanchez.
No, it was right after Eric. It was my first. That was to get into the tournament. I fought a guy the first fight of the tournament. It
Sorry,
should be
trying to do
December.
to do to do. Oh, Marlon Gonzalez, I think actually was the
Marlon,
first guy in the
correct.
tournament because then it would have been Canetti and then Flores.
Yes, correct.
Okay, bringing that back real quick into memory. Are you going to have new tools added to the game, like with the experience that you've had, the amount of boxing and the 24, this will be the 25th professional fight. We looking at a different version of Andreas, a crisper version. Like, what are you expecting to look like in returning and having had these 3 years to tinker around with your game?
I don't want to say a crisper version. It may be a different version because like I was saying, I don't train like I used to train. I've taken I don't train as much as I would like to, I guess you can say. Um, I'm using my time wisely, I guess is what I'm looking for. I'm using my time wisely and I'm pinpointing on what I'm going to do in the fight. I still think I'm just going to be a striker, going to defend the takedown if I have to. If it goes to the ground, I'm very well versed there. If it does go to the ground, I think everyone will see a little bit different game that I've always had, but I've never really implemented. I think I'm just more comfortable more on the ground now, especially with I do a lot of ground and pound, a lot of strikes, but my submissions game has come up a lot.
You brought up the team at Borg's. What has it been like being in camp? I know that there's been many a discussions, conversations about fights, but I don't think you've got pen and paper in a lot of those conversations. So I'm guessing you haven't got deep into camp. What has it been like, the body, the mind, getting adjusted to camp again?
It's good. It took me a little while. I was hoping to have a longer camp like I did, in a way, because obviously my body wasn't used to the abuse and punishment it's been put through before. But it took about a month, I guess, to say. I was like tired and sore and beat up and not wanting to get up in the mornings and go do my workouts and my trainings that I had to do. Um, but as the camp went on, I got more and more used to it.
It's been 3 years away. And in that time, I know you haven't stopped watching MMA. You
Right.
didn't stop being in the corner of your brother. You
Mhm.
didn't stop going to events. What was it like, and how anxious, or what did those nights make you feel like, knowing that you still had the desire to compete, but it wasn't coming together?
It was different, like being like a coach and not being there. Whenever you're fighting, it's like you're really anxious and you're like, let's fight, let's get this over with. And I was always main event, so just going to events is like nerve wracking, like I was saying. Um, I was more relaxed, but even though my brother was fighting, it's still I'm not 100% relaxed. But if I was just going as a spectator, it was nice actually. It was nice, good change of pace for me.
So it wasn't just getting that those juices flowing and getting you, oh, I want to be in there.
There was some of that to an extent, but I knew at the events I was going to, I probably wasn't going to be fighting at. I think I've even tried to fight at Fight World before, a year or two ago maybe. Um, we had an opponent, he fell through, had another opponent, and then he just started getting shady. Just hard to find me an opponent.
Throughout this 3 years, do you almost think it's not going to work out? Your record, it's going to be hard to find somebody. This might not come together.
That's always a thought in my head for sure. And I actually wasn't even looking for this fight. My brother had fought and won his last fight, and he was out with the matchmaker and the promoter, and he was telling him, he's all, "Hey, you and my brother should fight." I guess the promoter's a 45er. I think he was the guy that was supposed to fight Ray Vaeza, and he's all right, all right. He's like, you know what? He's all, I would love your brother to be on my card, but I'm gonna try and get him a fight. If there's nobody else that will fight him, I'll fight him. I was like, all right, I'm down. And at first, I just took it as a joke. And then, like a week or two later, as the time went on, he's like, hey, I'm looking for a fight for you. I was like, all right, let me know. And then that's when he sent me about three different people, and I chose Roa. Good, tough opponent. A lot of fights, a lot of experience. Good comeback fight for me. I feel like he wasn't too dangerous. He wouldn't be able to finish me very easily. So I thought that was a great comeback fight. But then obviously he fell through. So that's just kind of how it happened out of nowhere.
Do you have any thoughts then, or were you involved in the replacement opponent picking?
He sent me one guy, I think a guy out of Nevada. And as me and Ray were looking for him, he sent another guy. He's all, this guy hasn't replied to me, but this guy said he'll take it. And it was who we have now, Pablo, I believe.
Pablo, a wrestler. So boxer versus wrestler, nothing new story for you.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be returning, to finally think that you are going to get to fight, to do this again?
Man, I love it. I grew up doing this. Like I was saying, I've done it most of my adult life, all my adult life, I would say. I've been competing since I was 12 years old. Um, it's gonna be fun. And I'm not before I used to fight because that's all I had. That's all I was able to do. I didn't have a full-time job. I didn't have, a plan B to fall back on, plan C, anything. So I was fighting to survive at the time and point. And I think I did pretty well for myself. But now this is more for me, more for fun. And if I'm able to continue getting fights, I would love to be doing that.
Is it 1 foot in, 1 foot out, or is it just stepping tentatively right now?
No, anything I've done in life, I've done 100%. So I'm always going to put my 100% effort into it. The only thing is, I just know how hard it is to find me fights, and depending if I'm able to finish this guy or not, in what kind of fashion, is going to determine if I'm going to have a bigger or smaller pool of opponents to choose from and be able to willing to fight me.
Which one then do you feel is optimal? Do you almost want to barely get by this guy, like a split decision, and kind of give people the hope that you're washed so that they'll take the fight? Or do you think three a 30-second knockout might entice a Fury, an APFC, somebody of that nature to give you a call again?
Um, that would be nice for a bigger promotion. They were telling me if I had beat this guy, I would be up probably for the title at 45, which is cool. Just finding an opponent again. I would. I'm a fighter. I'm a killer. I have a great killer instinct, I think. But if I get this guy hurt, I more than likely gonna try and get him out of there.
Is that what you believe? Is that what you've envisioned? Is that what you see happening?
Yeah, I do. I really do. Um, Believe it or not, I feel like I may even get a submission.
What happened to the cocky Andreas? This is like the 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 most I don't know how to state this. The most off camera, on camera interview I've got from you.
Yeah, seriously, seriously. It's been a while since I've done interviews. I got to get back into character.
In a character. Does it feel a little bit foreign, this process, that it's actually happening again? Like, you remember how to do all this, but just that
Right.
it is happening.
Not so much. It just seems like it's been a little while. It's been a bit. So if a lot of people remember, I didn't do a ton of interviews at the beginning of my career. I had one. I lost my first fight, split decision. Then I went on a 10 fight win streak, all knockouts, and I got no interviews almost. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Look it up. That's I was on a 10 fight win streak, all knockouts, and I just it wasn't covered a lot by media.
I was there for a bunch of it. The fight is happening. Do you feel pressure now returning?
Not so much pressure. I just feel like all the people that put in time and effort into this camp and help me out getting back into shape, and all my teammates, I just don't really want to let them down. I want to make sure I'm able to go out there and compete and do what everyone knows I can do.
Many years, it was the voice of Chris Luttrell coming out of the corner.
Yeah.
Was it strange trying to get used to another voice?
Not so much. As I was younger, I was with Lupe and I was with a few different boxing coaches before Lupe. I've always just been a good student of the game. And Ray Borg has been there, done that. He's fought for UFC world title. He's done everything that I've done and more. So it's not hard to take um pointers or tips or training advice from someone that's such a high level.
And does it feel different now returning to fighting? Besides the job, I know that there's been many other big life events that just your life is in a totally different place than it was last time. Does it feel different in those perspectives?
Yeah, just everything with life. Like I was saying, life goes on. I don't have 100% time to commit to MMA as I used to. That's I want to say is the biggest thing. It's just balancing. It's more of a balancing act than anything.
Does it feel like muscle memory, getting back in the gym, getting back to it?
It does. And the funny thing is, Ray Borg just got a new spot there on 4th Street. And I walk in and he's putting up the mats and stuff. And I go and he's all, we got new lockers. And I go, and it's our old lockers from Littrell's, like back at home.
Back at home, like the cage he has looks quite familiar too. We did quite a few interviews in that one.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. The cage is Littrell's old cage. We're actually not using the cage at this time and point in there, but yeah, I've been in there in a handful of times when he was at 505 wrestling.
He didn't get the bags from Lachelle's, did he? I think those were the old bags actually from ABQ kickboxing, maybe.
I'm not too sure.
But either way, there's a lot of familiarity when you walk
Yeah,
in there.
yeah. So it wasn't like a big shock, like, oh, this is completely new. This is all completely different.
How's it feel to be back?
Good. Excited. Super, super excited. I'm just ready to go have some fun. And biggest thing, I want to test myself.
El Paso, be ready. CFC 5. It's October 18th. You guys know where they do it. The Bullet is back in action. Andres, thank you for the time.
Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate you for having me.